You are one seed. You are no bigger than a thumb. You weigh less than a single drop of rain, and right now you are falling. Below you there is only bare, wet mud. No shade, no shelter, no sound but water. Alone you are almost nothing. And yet, give it time, and you will build a world. Stage 1. The landing. You hit the ground. Warm mud closes over your hard brown shell. And then you wait. Rain soaks in. Your coat swells and splits. A single white root pushes out and turns downward. It does not think. It only knows which way is down. The root grips. And now you can drink. A pale shoot lifts the other way, searching for the opposite of the dark. It breaks the surface. Two soft leaves open, no bigger than a child's thumbnail. They are your first machine. Sunlight lands on them, and something extraordinary begins. You take light, water, and air, and you turn them into wood. That is your entire trick. You will spend the next 1,000 years perfecting it. Around you, the ground steams. A beetle crosses your stem and keeps walking. You have no bark yet, and no defense at all. 99 of every 100 seeds like you never get this far. Most rot. Most are eaten. Most land in the dark and simply stop. You did not. You are 3 centimeters tall, and you are already in a race. Stage 2. The climb. The race is for light. Look up. Far above you, older trees have already taken the sky. Their leaves drink the sun and leave you the scraps. Down here on the forest floor, you get about 1% of the light. 1% is enough to survive. It is not enough to grow, so you hold. You put down roots, you thicken your stem, and you wait. Years pass. Then, somewhere above you, an old giant finally lets go. A crack. A tearing of vines. A sound like the sky breaking open. The old tree falls, and where it stood there is now a hole full of sun. The light hits you like a switch. You grow. Not slowly, not politely. You throw everything you have upward, and you do it fast. 2 meters, 5, 15. Your stem hardens into a trunk. Your bark thickens into armor. Great flat roots spread from your base like buttresses, wide as doors, holding you steady in thin soil. 30 meters, 40, and then your leaves break the surface of the canopy, and for the first time you feel the wind. You are standing in the sun. Now the real work can begin. Stage 3. The bargain. You did not climb up here alone. You climbed by making deals. Under the soil, your roots are wrapped in fine, pale threads of fungus, finer than hair, running for miles. They hunt the dead leaves for the phosphorus you cannot reach. They hand it to you. You pay them in sugar. The trade is invisible, and it is the only reason you are standing here. Neither of you could live like this alone. Above ground, you flower. Your blossoms are locked shut, and only one key fits. A large, bright bee forces the lid open and climbs inside. She has flown 30 miles to find you. She carries your pollen to a tree you will never see. Months later, your fruit hardens into a woody pod, heavy as a cannonball. It falls. It does not break. Inside, your children are sealed in a shell almost nothing on earth can open. Almost. A small brown rodent with chiseled teeth gnaws his way in. He eats a few of your seeds, and then he does something remarkable. He buries the rest. He hides them across the forest floor in dozens of little caches, and he forgets where some of them are. You cannot walk, so you hired legs. Your children are already leaving home. Stage 4. The drowned world. Now step back. Not years, not centuries, millions of years. Far to the west, the ground is buckling. 2 great plates are grinding into one another, and stone is being pushed toward the sky. The Andes are rising, and they are rising directly across the path of your rivers. For all of time, the water here has run west, into the Pacific. Now a wall of rock stands in its way. The water has nowhere to go, so it stops. It pools. It spreads. A shallow inland sea creeps across the lowlands, brackish and slow, the size of a country. Your forest drowns at the edges. Caimans the length of a bus slide between drowned trunks. Turtles the size of dinner tables drift over what used to be your floor. For millions of years, the water sits, and then it leans east. It finds a low seam in the land, and it begins to cut. It carves, it widens, it runs. The great river turns around and pours itself into the Atlantic. And every year when it floods, it lays down fresh gray silt, carried down from the mountains. The Andes are feeding you. Every flood leaves you richer than the year before. Your descendants now stand on soil made from a mountain range. Stage 5. The long dry. Then the world turns cold. Far to the north and far to the south, ice is growing. The ice locks up the planet's water, and the air above you goes dry. The rains falter. A dry season that used to last 2 months now lasts 5. Your leaves curl. Your rivers shrink to threads. And then comes the thing a rainforest was never built to survive: fire. Lightning finds the dry litter, and the forest floor burns. Your bark is thick. It is not thick enough. Hard, pale grasses arrive, and they like the heat. Open savanna pushes into the gaps like water into a crack. The green pulls back. The great unbroken forest breaks apart into islands. Your descendants die by the million. Whole valleys go quiet. What took millions of years to build is coming apart in a few thousand. And yet, in the wettest corners under the shadow of the mountains, along the deepest rivers, the rain never quite stops. There, a few of your children hold on. They are cut off from each other. They are surrounded, and they wait. Stage 6. The Great Return. The ice breaks. The world warms, and the rain comes back. Cloud piles over the lowlands again, and the islands of green begin to spread. They creep out along the rivers. They climb the low hills. Edge finds edge. Island touches island. The forest closes over the grassland, and the savanna is swallowed whole. But the forest that returns is not the forest that left. While your children were locked apart, they changed. Separated for thousands of generations, each green island became its own experiment. Trees became new trees. Frogs became new frogs. Birds on one side of a dry valley stopped answering the birds on the other. And now all of them are pouring back into the same room. The result is a richness this planet has never seen before. 16,000 different kinds of tree. More species of fish in one river than in the entire Atlantic Ocean. More kinds of ant on a single trunk than in all of Britain. Layer stacks on layer. Vines rope the canopy together. Orchids ride your branches. Bromeliads hold small pools of rain in your crown. You are not a tree anymore. You are an address. Stage 7. The Flying Rivers. And now you begin doing something stranger still. You make your own rain. On one hot day, a single full-grown tree lifts 1,000 liters of water from the soil and breathes it into the air. Multiply that by the trees standing around you. Multiply it again and again across the whole basin. 20 billion tons of water rise from this canopy every single day. That is more water than the great river carries to the sea. It hangs above you as mist, then gathers into cloud. The wind pushes it west until the mountains turn it back. And it falls. It has fallen this way, day after day, for millions of years. The rain you drink is the rain you made. You do not live in the weather. You are the weather. Rivers now run above the canopy, invisible, carrying water thousands of miles. They water farms and cities far to the south, in places that have never seen a jungle. The forest is no longer part of the world. The world is now part of the forest. So pull back, higher, keep going. Look at what you have made. Wonder. The Amazon rainforest. Green. In every direction. All the way to the curve of the Earth. 6.7 million square kilometers of unbroken forest. 9 countries. A single living thing the size of a continent. 390 billion trees stand here. You are one of them. Through the middle of it runs the river, over 4,000 miles long. It carries a fifth of all the fresh water moving on this planet. Where it meets the sea, it shoves the ocean aside, and the Atlantic runs fresh for 100 miles offshore. Cloud lies along the canopy like smoke. Rain drums on 10,000 million leaves at once. There is no horizon here. There is only green and more green, and the shine of water underneath it. And now, look at what lives inside you. A jaguar walks a high branch, silent, heavy, unhurried. In a pool of rainwater held in a single leaf, a frog the size of a coin is raising one tadpole. Macaws come down to the riverbank in a storm of red and blue. A pink dolphin turns between the trunks of a flooded forest, swimming where fish once could not go. Leafcutter ants carry green sails along a highway they cut themselves. 1 in every 10 known species on Earth lives in this one forest. And in the shade beneath all of it, people. They have lived here and tended these trees for thousands of years. They planted some of the fruit trees you are standing beside. Every one of them is standing on the same simple bargain you made on your first day. Light, water, time. This is the greatest forest on Earth, and it began with you. One seed, in the mud, no bigger than a thumb. Nothing here was designed. Nobody ever planned a forest. There was only a seed and a little light and enough time to try again. And it has not stopped. Right now, somewhere under those leaves in the dark and the wet, a seed is falling. It is no bigger than your thumb. It has no idea what it will become. But you do.